everybody. Welcome to Anthony's hilarious house of tuning. Because it's minus 30 outside and plus 20 inside, the guitar's retuned itself since I last tuned it. All right, well, let's. You're welcome to stand up and wiggle your tush or mouth the words or sing along at home. I have come here seeking freedom. I have come here seeking peace. I have come here to go deeper into the truest part of me. And it's here, this place, I can see it on each face. Oh, it's here, where we are, I can feel it in my I am a light, you are a light. We are a light. Anybody got a light? Let's see if we remember how this one goes. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine. I shine so bright, and I shine, oh I shine, yes I shine so bright.
All right. What a wonderful way to start our Sunday gathering. Welcome to everyone who is here in person and all of those joining us online from around Calgary and around the world. We're so delighted to have everyone here. My name is Alara Payton. I am part of the prayer chaplain ministry here at Unity of Calgary. And a special welcome to anyone who is new to our community. We are so delighted that you've joined us because we know that wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are always welcome here. Let's take a moment to begin with an affirmative prayer. Just resting into this time of conscious connection to the one power and one presence that enlivens all life. A conscious acknowledgement of our true divine nature, our powers as expressions of the one power and one presence. And here, this deep place within our heart, we notice all is still, all is quiet. As we turn our thoughts from outer things, we find this still and quiet place where there is a strength and faith to meet all of our concerns with confidence. Here we are poised and serene, for the Christ consciousness within us is our strength, our peace, and our unfailing help in time of every need. Peace is established in the world of our thoughts and emotions as we presence our trust in God. We choose to keep our thoughts on God and feel the blessing of comfort in our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects. The beauty, warmth, protection, and comfort of God's loving presence fills us with a deep sense of peace, joy, and serenity. Now we choose to trust, knowing that as we allow God to be in charge, perfect, ongoing results are unfolding. And so it is. And that leads us into our statement of being. We love saying this every week, affirming for ourselves the reason why we choose to gather in person and online. And so I invite us to affirm together. We are here as love to celebrate the one power, the one presence in our lives, in this community, and in the universe. And Patty Shortreed is reading our daily word for us today. And you can access the daily word online. You can have it delivered to your email every day or to your phone app. But you can also access the daily word on our website, unityofcalgary.org, and you can find the link there. I'm just filling in a little bit of time because Patty needed to go and find the paper that has the daily word on it. And so the Daily Word has been in production by Unity for over 100 years. Now I can see she's got her hands up going, where's the Daily Word? So she did have it, and we're not quite sure where it went to. And so as she's looking for that, let's go to our vision. And so production team, hopefully you can keep up with me. We're going to our vision now. This is the vision that is held by the worldwide Unity Ministry, and we've decided to adopt that for our vision. So let's affirm together the vision. We envision a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our community developed together some years ago our mission so that our leadership knows how to bring forth that vision. And this is our mission at Unity of Calgary. Please help me affirm. We are a welcoming, vibrant, spiritual community that inspires hearts and transforms lives by expressing our divine essence. And so if that resonates with you at all, then I guess you're in the right place. And we've got some upcoming events, so we're going to do some announcements about what's going on at Unity of Calgary. We have next week's speaker, Ray Hawkins, who is a dear friend of mine, who's going to be talking about echo and narcissus through ancient story and reflection. We will explore what holds us back from loving completely. So what a wonderful topic for Valentine's Day. And we have our new member orientation. Our AGM is scheduled on April 18th, and only members can vote at our AGM. So if you're not a member and you would like to be a voting member before the AGM, you will need to have a new member orientation. Please contact Unity President Claude Pellerin, and he will see that you get an orientation. If you have been a member and you have not yet renewed your membership, you also need to connect about that. And we do have people in our community who are here in person as we follow the mandates of, the current mandates of gathering as a spiritual community, and they are highly sensitive to scent. So we would appreciate if you would not wear perfumes or scents. Even hairspray can be highly scented. So thank you so much for honoring that we are a scent-free zone. And we have a Unity Canada workshop that's part 3 on Zoom. It is continuing on every other Tuesday, so February 9th is the next one coming up at 6 p.m. Calgary time, and the topic is Unity's affirmative prayer and silent unity. And we have the continuation of Zoom coffee chats that I am hosting every other week, and I totally forgot to look at the schedule for what else was going on, so I did schedule it for the 9th as well. But the class starts at 6 p.m., and they are usually 90 minutes, I've been told. And so you can join us after the class. Once it feels appropriate, when the class is finished, you can join us at 7:30 p.m. for the coffee chat. And the links are on the website and the newsletter for all of our events that are happening. And Patty has got the daily word for us. In the day of technology, she gets to have it on her phone. Wonderful. Thanks, Patty.
Well, thanks to Ariana. Today's daily word, I express the peace of God. Peace, be still. With these words, Jesus claimed his authority and calmed the stormy waters. Follow Jesus' example, I too claim authority. In a stressful moment, I center my awareness in the divine presence that lives in me and expresses through me. This divine presence is perfect life, love, and wisdom. It is peace that nothing and no one can disturb. No matter what might be happening around me, at the center of my being, there is always peace. It is an aspect of my divine inheritance, as near as my next thought. I release all fear and tension and embrace the peace of God. As I do, divine peace radiates from the center of my being. It clarifies my thoughts, calms my emotions, and relaxes my body. In every situation, I am a presence of peace. And from Isaiah 26:3, those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust in you. Thank you.
Wonderful. And that brings us to the Unity Band singing Hymn for the Universal Lightworker. Band, I think we've... Oh, it's just you. I was wondering, most of the band isn't sitting there. You wouldn't be able to see that out in the Facebook land, so I was wondering what was going on.
Yeah, the band. Well, they're on strike. Just me. Me and my piano. This is a hymn for every light worker around the world, for every one of you whose voice has not been heard. This is a hymn to give you faith to rise above all the things we wish mankind had not become. This is a hymn to remind you to love. This is a hymn for every child living everywhere around the world, for each of you whose voice will someday soon be heard. This is a hymn to give you faith to heal mankind, to bring a love so bright its light won't be denied. This is a hymn and a prayer for your lives. Oh, we are the light of the world. Through acts of love, our voices will be heard. So let your light shine on all mankind, and may this hymn give you courage to shine. This is a hymn for every light worker around the world, for every one of you whose voice has not been heard. This is a hymn to give you faith to rise above all the things we wish mankind had not become. This is a hymn to remind you to love. This is a hymn to remind you to love. This is a hymn to remind you to love.
Thank you, Anthony. That's an original composition by Anthony. And I am, and we are blessed to receive his musical gifts. And today, we have someone else who's offering gifts, and that's our speaker, Reverend Doug Craig, who is talking today on walking in the light. Our strength comes from trust, belief, and faith. Results come not from the knowledge of these points, but from the practical application of the points. This is the doing. And Reverend Doug comes to us as a minister for over 40 years. He comes to us as a former teacher at our SAIT, our technical college in Calgary, for many years. He comes to us as a professional Santa Claus. He is a mountain man. He's been doing mountain walks for years with people. He wears many, many hats, and we are delighted that he's been a part of our speaking community for many years. And he's asked me to do the opening meditation to assist us in opening to receive his message that centers around our strength. And so let's sing together the meditation song, I Am Healing.
I am healing. I am healing.
the breath, our whole and holy, the sacred breath, with either our eyes closed or softly focused. We remember who we truly are. And we access our true divine nature and powers to allow the healing to occur in all the ways that is called for in our own lives. As we consciously connect into nature, this planet, all of its beings, and consciously connect into the all that is everywhere present. We ask for and we receive that which is for our healing as individuals, as communities, as nations, and as a world. Here we know our strength. We know our flexibility. We are acquainted with our true divine nature. Here we celebrate our diversity as a doorway to our unity. Here we honor the many faces, the many roles we play in the world. We honor our multifaceted personality and our multidimensionality. Here we are open and receptive to receive all of the gifts of the spoken word and the music and the conversations that matter with people who care. Indeed, we are healing. Here, now, as you take this into a moment of silence and allow it to be your truth in your own way. And we take this embodied knowing, this consciousness, into the listening to Reverend Doug's message, and perhaps you will stay in the meditative state throughout his entire talk. And so now we once again affirm, I am healing.
I am healing. I am healing. I am healing from my soul. I am healing. I am healing.
called Walking in the Light. Whee! That's a little loud. Anyhow, the theme for February in Unity is strength. And the affirmation for the month is I express the strength and vitality of God. Now, just to kind of set the stage here, one of the things I really like about what Unity does is they teach the metaphysical interpretation of Scripture and how the Scripture applies to us in day-to-day living beyond the physical stories, the medical, physical, or the inner. And so part of what I do to start something like this, strength is one of the key qualities of developing the whole person. And the whole person is, as Jesus said when he called Peter, upon this rock I will build my church. Well, we know he didn't build the church, so what was he talking about? The church was symbolic of the individual and the consciousness. And so he called his disciples, and he had 12 of them. Okay? And each one represents a faculty or quality within us that we can develop and access to be whole, perfect, and complete in our expression here. So there are those 12. Now, the first one he called was Peter, and Peter represents faith. The second one he called was Andrew. Andrew represents strength. Now, oddly enough, they weren't just random. Peter and Andrew are brothers. Okay, so this is very significant. So the dictionary, the Bible dictionary for Unity, says that the strength of mind that is rejoice greatly when it finds the inexhaustible source of all strength. Andrew symbolizes the strength. Well, Peter symbolizes the faith capacity of the mind. So when the strength finds faith and they are brothers consciously in mind, a bond of unity is established that carries one along, even though one may encounter the most adverse experiences. And so, in one way, this is really easier to get a grasp on when things are drastic or when we have something happen in our life where we don't seem to have any other alternatives. So we have a little bit more faith, and we know that in order to move forward, we have to summon the strength from within inside of ourselves to be able to hold fast to possibility and move beyond the circumstances and situations that we're experiencing right now. And it's all easy to talk about. However, it does require practice. And I can tell you from all of the personal experiences I've had that doesn't matter what happens, when we can draw on that strength within us. Keep in mind, a lot of times when people say strength, they think physical. And it is. And they think mental. And it is. But they don't think about it as being spiritual. However, neither one of the two work unless it's spiritual first. So we've got to tap in, and it's not anything anybody has to do or anything has to have or something somebody else can tell you. We all got that within inside ourselves. And so when we turn to that and place our belief in that, then we have the strength to be able to move forward, as well as our accompanying faith. And when you get strength of mind together with faith, and they're held together like that, it's pretty hard not to be able to succeed in whatever the endeavor is. Long as you can stay there, that's the trick. Okay, and again, keep in mind, folks, this is all easy to talk about. Man, I could talk about this till the cows come home. However, when you got to step up to the plate and do it, it's a different story. It takes a lot of practice. And this idea of drawing upon the strength of mind from within and faith, that requires this old-fashioned thing we called discipline. We have to have the discipline to do it. Now, we're all going to get off track here probably before the end of the afternoon, and if we last that long, okay? And so constantly we have to realize it's reestablishing that within ourselves and getting back and getting centered, okay? Anybody ever get into a real flap and just get off on a real wild one? Well, you got to get yourself back. You got to have the strength to draw upon the spiritual source within us and get that back out here. So the Unity says the metaphysical meaning of strength. I love this. The energy of God. Strength is the energy of God. It's freedom from weakness. So when we're focused on the energy of God, we're free from weakness. It is stability of character. It's the power to withstand temptation. Ooh. I got to tell you, that one we all deal with. And you know, temptation, a lot of people go to just the pure physical act. Hey, we can be tempted to get distracted with a whole lot of stuff. All you got to do is look at the good cookies over there, and I could get distracted real easy. Okay? So there's lots of ways to get distracted. So what we've got to do is work with that and just have that power to withstand temptation. And it also gives us the capacity to accomplish. Strength is physical, mental, and spiritual. All strength originates in spirit. The thought and the word spiritually expressed through manifestation. So it all comes from the spirit first. That's where our strength is. Now, the strength itself, the next idea here, comes from a belief in oneself and confidence. Now, we could be extremely confident in certain areas and have a large lack of self-confidence in other areas. So, for example, I'm totally confident coming up here speaking. A lot of people just shudder at the idea of doing something like that. I'm confident in a classroom. I'm confident doing seminars, counseling. I'm even confident in real tacky situations where I've been in before and managed them. But, I do have those areas where I don't have any confidence at all. Zero. I'll share one. Okay, there's a few. And it's probably for you, it's not a big deal. Has anybody ever bought something and had to take it back and return it? Okay, it was okay. I can't do it. I can't do it. You ask Anna, whenever I do that, I get her to take it back because she can do it real well. I can't even go with her because it just drives me nuts watching her do it. I just go, Chris, how could you do that? Okay, yeah, so I don't have to deal with that one right now because I got Anna, but eventually probably I'll have to deal with it myself, right? But it might seem silly to you. How could a person come and do all of this and be so confident yet not be confident in another area? And we all have that, by the way. I'll bet that a lot of you got confidence to do things. I see Shirley here with her dancing. Man, I'll tell you, it's fantastic watching that. But I do want to ask Anna, do you want to get me on the dance floor? You got to drag me out there. Or I used to be really good when I was plied with lots of assistants, okay? But that's not how we want to go through life, needing to be plied to do it. So strength comes from a belief in oneself and confidence. That's a criteria to succeed no matter what the battle may be. So one of my favorite stories of all time that deals with this comes from the Old Testament. And it's the story of David and Goliath. Now, we're all familiar with David and Goliath, and you go through the whole thing about what happens. But it's understanding what's really happening there that makes the difference. So here you got the army of the Philistines and the army of the Israelis, and they're across the valley there and the big hill, and they're squared off ready to go at it to see who's the winner. And, of course, to save all the bloodshed, the other side said, well, we'll just have a showdown. We'll send one man out. You send one man out. Whoever wins, the rest will be servants to the other. So they send out this guy called Goliath. Holy man, he could really kick some serious butt, this guy. He was big, and he didn't have a regular sword. He had a scythe because he just took heads off as he went through and stuff like that. It was very, very scary, full of armor. And so the king, Saul's looking around. Well, okay, who's going to step up to the plate? Well, nobody wanted to. In battle, somebody's going to die, but at least you got a chance. You go up against that guy, you're done. So everybody's afraid right away, yeah? So the instant we go into fear, we've lost it. And by the way, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be something so simple as taking back something that you bought. But when you're in fear, you lost it. You can't do it. You have to work at bringing yourself back. And by the way, this does take years of practice to do it and to get you out of some tight situations. So it does take years of practice. And I'm still practicing all the time. But here you got the two of them, and they're not having anybody come forward. And all of a sudden, the little shepherd boy, David, comes forward. He's got 4 older brothers in the army, and everybody's there. And everybody's looking at him. He's kind of laughing. And he steps up there and tells the king, and I could do that. And the king was surprised at his confidence. But what makes you think you could do that? And you see, confidence and strength is not something that we demonstrate right away, even though it's there all the time. We develop it over a period of time, and there's certain circumstances and situations that reinforce that when we do that, okay? So my faith and my strength and confidence is a lot strong and very powerful in a lot of ways. That's because over a period of time I've had things where I've applied the spiritual principle and I've had the success and I see how it happens, so that builds it. So old David said, well, yeah, he said, I took on a lion, that was after the sheep, and I took on a bear, and I whipped them both, slew them. So he had confidence in his ability to do that. And the king said, well, okay, give it a go. And so they got him all dressed up with a helmet and armor, all those things that you need if you're going to be a butt kicker and tough in the war, right? Isn't that what we do? A lot of times we go out and get all the things that we need out here to give us the strength and the courage to do something. And as long as we got that, we can do it. Or we think we can. But take that away or have something happen there and we're gone. And so they got him all dressed up, and he looks at the king and he says, I don't know nothing about this stuff. I have no idea how to work with this. None. So I can't do it because I don't know what to do. So he takes it all off, and he goes down to the creek, and he gets 5 stones, and he's got a sling. And they look at him going, oh, wow, are you sure? And so, yeah, he goes down there. And of course, Goliath was a little bit, insulted by what they sent. And he stood there squared off against him, but never once did he have any fear. Fear did not enter it, simply because he had the confidence and the strength of the Spirit within him to be able to do the job. So whenever you're looking at these big things, it doesn't matter what it is. We're talking a giant there, but the giant things that we got to deal with out there of circumstance situations, some of the personal stuff that we got to go through and all of that. Well, we could take a really good hint from what David did, because he was looking at something that, nobody else could find a way to deal with. But he wasn't afraid because he knew there was a way. There always is a way if you're prepared to walk in the light. Got that? If you're prepared to walk in the light, there'll always be a way to find a breakthrough through whatever it is that you're faced and that you're dealing with. And so, being the marksman he saw the open spot up here in the forehead of the giant, right in here. And he got his sling out and whap! Poof, he goes down, and then he runs over, gets the guy's sword, and hacks off his head and finishes him up with his own stuff, Kind of gory. But that's what happens, you see. Whenever we look at that ominous thing that we're dealing with, we draw on our spiritual strength and have the faith to know that there is a way. So we look for the weakness. And whenever you find the weakness, that's where you go to work. Unfortunately, it works on yourself the same way. If you're not having much success, you got to look at the weakness. And I really don't want to talk much about that because I'm having a bit of a challenge on a few things right now. Anybody else? Oh, good, I'm not alone. Yeah, and so you got to look for the weakness. And, of course, when the weakness is looking in the mirror back at you, you got to really look at what that's about if you want to succeed in whatever the endeavor is that you're going at, eh? So he slew the giant, just like that. Ultimately, he became king because of that over a period of time, you see. And that's what happens to us. When we take a spiritual approach and we find the weakness and we stand in the light with our strength and our faith there, we'll always find a way. Absurd as the way may be to us consciously, if we follow what Spirit gives us, it will find a way through that. I can go through dozens of examples I've had by doing that. And, when I went through my major burnout there about 96, 97, it was very traumatic for me. And virtually in the position I was, recovery didn't look very good. However, by standing and walking in the light, ultimately I was guided, led, and directed, and I followed each of the steps through to find out what it was necessary that I had to do to succeed. One of the things the Spirit gave me right in that was something I thought people were crazy to do. And it kept coming at me, but there was this 3-week mountaineering course with Outward Bound. And I thought people were nuts to pay money to go scared the hell out of themselves hanging off the edge of mountains. And I would never do that. Because of that, I was a little bit scared of heights. So, mountain man scared of heights, but that does happen. And so the Spirit put it there, and I said, okay, well, I guess I got to do it. I didn't want to, but I resolved myself to do it, and so I got myself pumped up, and I told a few people, yeah, I'm going to do this, and I was all pumped up about it. And the interesting thing is, it's always good to be pumped up about the solution you found because you know it's going to work, and it's part of what you need to do to experience your breakthrough or healing. Then comes the other thing. You got to do it. And it's easy to talk about something, but doing it is a different story. I never had any problem talking about it, but when it got closer and I had to do it, then I started to come up with all the stories, all the reasons, all the excuses, and even taking the long way there in a back road hoping I could break down and miss it. And it didn't work. So I said, I guess I got to do it. Okay? And again, at the end result, what I had to draw on was that spiritual strength and that faith that what I was doing is what I needed to do. And no matter what else my mind said to me, that was the lie. It's the ego telling me this story. So I went ahead and did that. And some asked me, well, how was it a good experience? It was the second most powerful experience in my lifetime that I've ever had, next to watching my daughter be born. So, what we say is, Fillmore says, Charles Fillmore in the 12 Powers of Man, he said, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might is a great strengthening affirmation for ourselves and others. Be steadfast, strong, and steady in thought, and you will establish strength in mind and body. Never let the thought of weakness enter your consciousness, but always ignore the suggestion and affirm to yourself, I am a tower of strength within and without. I am a tower of strength within and without. So because it unfolds on these 3 levels, the mental, the physical, and the spiritual, we have to understand that at the mental level, strength is not willpower. Okay? Willpower is a false idea. It's will. Check it out. There's a difference between will and willpower. Will is the motivation behind what you're doing. Willpower is really trying to exercise a degree of control. When you come from will and you're centered in that, you don't need to control. You can let it flow and just trust. That's where the faith comes in. We have to learn to be a good custodian of our mind, and we have to stay centered in spiritual practices and the application of spiritual principles. So all of those things, and again, working with faith, will give us what it is that we need in order to succeed. And we have to stay away from the bad guys over here: doubt, worry, negativity, skepticism, judgment, any of that kind of stuff. You know, the good stuff that none of us have a problem with, but some people do. Okay? And I'll close with a quote from Dr. Ernest Holmes from the Science of Mind text. And he talks about in there about the idea that when you're out of this position and into the negativity, it creates fatigue and you get tired. It's really a lot tiring to try and do something when you're not centered as when you're doing it. I like that with shoveling snow and sweeping. Man, it's a spiritual experience for me. If not, it could really take a lot out of me. And so Ernest Holmes said, we can free ourselves from a feeling of approaching fatigue by knowing that we have within us always immediately available an infinite strength. As we allow the thought of this to enter our inner consciousness, we feel strong, vital, and equal to any emergency. The power back of your word is perfect law and is fulfilled and returned back to you as your perfect strength. So I know for myself, as I know for each one, that we are centered in the strength of the Spirit within us and stand in the faith. And together we move forward with the two brothers merged within us, walking in the light. So I see us all walking in the light at all times and all ways to the best of our ability. And when we find ourselves not, we have the willingness and the knowledge to step back into the light. So we walk in the light, bringing that light to all those around us. So we do this, and we know that God is good, God is great, so am I, and so it is. And thank you. Whee! Thank you.
When, is my mic on? Oh, it is. Sorry. I turned this down because it was so much, Reverend Doug. When I was a child, I talked like a child, and I thought like a child. I dreamed like a child. When I became a man, put my childish dreams away, and I acted like a man. That's how I lost my way. And the life I live is the life I have to stay. Though I wish now my life could change, I will step off
Wow, putting together those messages of Reverend Doug and how we can truly be in this divine strength and human strength. And Anthony's songs, I Am the Light and Step Up to the Light. Can you feel that in you? A recommitment, perhaps, to the strength that you are. I was seeing the metaphor of the tree, and sometimes I feel like I'm an oak tree, and sometimes my wisdom knows I need to be the willow. So many blessings to each one of us as we embrace the messages that we've received today around the theme of strength. And now we enter into time of conscious giving. Together we use our time, our talents, and our treasures to bring forth this Unity of Calgary community, the in-person gatherings and the online. And we know that all of these gifts sustain and allow us to bring forth this message. We thank you for your time, your talent, and your love offerings, your donations that assist us in bringing forth this beautiful work. For we know that this community is making a difference in the world. Now, those of you who are here in person, you can place your love offering in the heart bowls that are at the back of the room during the singing of the offering song. You can make donations online by e-transfer to donate@unityofcalgary.org. You can go onto our website and donate there, and you can send in a check if that is your choice, and you will find the address on our website. And I invite you to hold to your heart all the ways your time, your talent, and your treasure make a difference in this community and in the world, in all the ways that you are in sacred service in the world. And so we affirm together our abundance affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I invite you to listen with an open heart to the offering song, Give with an Open Heart. Wonderful. And this brings us to the blessing for the children in our individual lives, in our world, and our own precious inner child. Let's affirm the blessing for the children together. We love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are. And now we come to the time of affirmative prayer. Let's take a quiet moment. And I invite you to bring to your awareness anything that you want to surrender into prayer. For we know that by turning our concerns over to Spirit, this opens the way for Spirit to bring about abundant blessings, allowing them to unfold in divine timing and divine order. And so for those of you that are here in person, you can perhaps already have, and you can, when we're finished our gathering, put your prayer requests on the slips of paper that go into our physical prayer box. You can imagine laying your concerns in that box on an altar of love. And so whatever you're bringing, into this power of prayer moment, I invite you to join me in silence. And I do invite you to submit your prayer requests either in the prayer box or on our website at unityofcalgary.org or by emailing prayer@unityofcalgary.org. Because our prayer team is given the names, just the first name of those that are asking for prayer support for yourself, for others, for the world. And please know that we don't just hold in prayer the challenges, we hold in prayer your celebrations. So, some weeks there's no prayer requests at all. I'm the one that harvests those prayer requests and sends them out to the prayer team. And I also send those names down to Silent Unity, and we hold the names in prayer for 30 days. And I just have a sense that there are some prayer requests out there that we could be passing along. So give me something to do. Give me those names that I can pass along to the prayer team. And we are also holding in prayer all of the unities around the world that are bringing forth this message. And each month we hold particular unity communities in prayer. And so this month we are holding Unity of Moncton Study Group and Unity Ministry in Motion. And we see them having all the support that they need to bring about this shared spiritual awakening in their own ways. So please join me in affirming the power of protection for everything that is being held in prayer this very day. The light that is God surrounds me. I am the light. The love that is God enfolds me. I am the love. The power that is God protects me. I am the power. The presence that is God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Amen. And so if you, during this next song with the Unity Band that they're going to sing for us, and those at home can sing out loud for us here, can only mouth the words, you can stand up if you wish, and let's embrace the one great power that the band is going to sing about.
There is just one presence, just one light, shining in the world like a beacon in the night. There's just one power we all can share, one great power everywhere. Oh, one great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great power everywhere. One great power everywhere. Just one purpose, just one spark, burning in our souls like a candle in the dark. Just one chord all can sing, one great power let it ring. One great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great power everywhere. One great power everywhere. Oh, one great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great power everywhere. One great power everywhere. One great power everywhere.
All right. Well, once again, thank you to our speaker, our band, everyone who set up this morning and is bringing this message out into the world through the online, the tech team working on that. And we're going to sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. So if you choose to move out with your physical distancing in the circle or stand where you are, and let's send a wave of peace rippling out into our world, shall we? Let there be peace on earth. Go ahead and clap. Go ahead and clap. For those of us in the room,